Hey, what's up guys, it's me again and welcome back to my channel Mayta What Ifs. Today I am back with a new story. The name of the story is What If Naruto Brought Advanced Tech to Konoha? And yeah guys, it is an unscripted story and my own idea. Now before continuing this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel, and follow me on my Potato What If as well as the Polo Chia channel as well. The link will be in the description for both of them. And yeah, enough said. Without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Our story begins in Konoha Gakure no Sato, 8 years after the Kyuubi attack in Konoha. As we go towards the Hokage office of the said village, in which we see Minato no Mikaze was currently busy doing his paperwork. As it was afternoon and the weather was peaceful, and Minato was finishing his paperwork as fast as he could because he needed to go home to overview the training of his children and spend time with his family. That is until there was a knock on the door, and his assistant came inside. Hokage-sama, there is a bit of trouble. What trouble? Some of the civilians have gathered outside and they wish to speak with you. May I bring them in? Please do. And some of the civilian shop owners were brought in. As now we see Minato looked towards them. Yes? Is something wrong? Your son is the problem, Hokage-sama. That is the thing that is wrong with us. I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? Let me rephrase, Hokage-sama. Your son has thrown paint bombs at our merchandise. Paint that instantly froze. And now we are in trouble because those things are going to be in total loss for us. We can't sell them. They're ruined goods. What? Wait, son. The youngest one with the blonde hair. Naruto? No, you must have been mistaken. He wouldn't do that. It was him. We saw him. And he jumped up on the rooftop and got away. Now that is where you're wrong. Naruto is not training in shinobi arts. He has no whatsoever interest in becoming a shinobi, so we're not training him. What? But we saw him. We're not gonna lie to you now, are we? Yes, what do we get out of it if we're blaming your son? True, that is true. I will pay for the damages and let this matter end here and go talk to my son and family. Please do, Hokage-sama. Please. And so, the villagers a bit confused then left. If the boy wasn't taught, then how was he able to jump so fast on rooftops? Because that was someone who was able to use a bit of chakra as well as with shinobi training. As back at home, we see Kushina Uzumaki was resting in her lounge with green tea in her cup. As next to her was his son, again drawing doodles in his notebook, adjusting his glasses. Seriously, son, you're gonna worsen your eyesight because of how close you are to the book, but I'm almost close to my first design. Of course you are. As Minato arrived there, hey there, Kushina. Ah, Minato-kun, you're back. Welcome back, Tosan. Naruto, where are your siblings? They just came back. They were snickering and all that. They're upstairs. As Kushina nodded, agreeing to that, Menma, Mito, come downstairs this instant. As both of them came downstairs. What is it, Tochan? Did you two threw paint bombs at people? What? No, it wasn't us. Maybe ask Naruto. Naruto was here with me the whole time. He wouldn't do that. Yeah, I was here. Kasan knows that. I was doodling here since, like, what? Wait, it's 3 p.m.? Yes, Naruto, it's 3 p.m. in afternoon. We have been up to this since 9 a.m. So if Naruto hasn't moved from there, then it must be you two who are impersonating him. What? Impersonating me? But why? As Menma finally, with a frown, then said, fine, it was us, okay? We were tired. Those people were being jerked to our friends. Then why did you not confront them? Because we didn't want it to ruin your name. And since Naruto is a slacker and stays at home, we place the blame on him. That is not nice, said Naruto. I didn't do anything to you. Why would you do that to me? I'm your little brother. As Naruto said these words, he closed his book and went upstairs. I'm going upstairs. Naruto, please come down. For what? They hate me. As Menma and Mito then said, no, we don't. It's just you don't get into trouble, and we usually do it. They're jealous of that. Yes. Then change your ways. Why are you putting the blame on me to try to make me look like you, when you can change yourself and be better than me? We'll try. And what do you say to people who you have hurt? Sorry. We're sorry, Naruto. It's alright. But you should have probably apologized to the people who believe that it was me who did this. And so both of the kids arrived and even apologized to them. And told them to not be jerks to the other kids. Because they almost bumped into their merchandise and all that. And so they didn't. And in the end, Minato made it a law that if someone by accident harms your merchandise, you can recover that from Konoha instead of yelling out if that person is a kid. And so, now was made a rule. As after that we see, it was evening and everyone was having a fun time. That is until Minato's gaze went towards Naruto's notebook, and in that were a lot of complex gears and whatnot. What are you doing there, Naruto? Oh, this is something for medical people. You mean the doctors? Yes, for medical personnel. How do you even know that? I read a lot of books, and thanks to your library, I was able to learn this. Since when? As long as I was young. You know what, Minato? As long as I can remember, since Naruto could talk and read, he has been reading books. And before that, he would see pictures just by opening them and laugh at them. Seriously, son? Asked Naruto, adjusting his glasses, then said, Of course. Why wouldn't I? That is something that is quite fun for me. Boring. It's not. Trust me when I say this. And so, Minato watched at his design and asked, What does this do? This is to identify if the bone is fractured or not. I call it the X-ray because it examines the bone structure and whatnot, and also help doctors easily to treat that bone instead of just plastering the whole arm and whatnot and wasting resources. That could be quite useful. How about you bring that design to the council and the doctors? And so the very next day Naruto was brought there where the concept and everything was shown. Everyone was amazed, especially Danzo Shimura, one of the elders alongside the rest. I must say I am impressed, young man. You have been... Since when did you have been doing this? I read a lot of books from my father's library and was able to, design this because I thought maybe it would be helpful in the future. Why did you thought of this at first? Because I saw that, when my Nissan got hurt, instead of focusing on the whole sprain that was on the other arm, his wrong arm got treated first, and after that, when he said that he still feels pain, his other arm got treated. That is quite true. This has happened before as well. Doctors, through chakra observation, cannot detect the pain entirely because the pain circulate and they treat the arm wrongly sometimes. This could help us identify as well better and with precision and treat betterly the broken bones. And so, with that, it was commissioned. Naruto was being observed by the elders themselves, who undertook the duty to observe the whole operation. And Naruto, with those who were able to mold this machinery, were able to work with him. And within a year or so, the first prototype was ready of the X-ray machine. And once it did, it helped them. The person who had recently returned from a mission, who had fractures in his bone, was found. Look, there are visible cracks in his bones. And he was diagnosed earlier as completely fine, while he said that he was feeling pain. And we gave him painkillers. So what are you suggesting, doctors? If it had gone on, the bone usually would have broken, and he would have suffered an arm loss. If it had gotten worse, in the midst of a battle. So the kid's machine saved me, said Ananbu, who was hurt and was there. Yes. Thank you, kid. It's alright. It's nothing much. I have other things that I'm preparing right now. You have more. This is revolutionary as it is. You have more? Of course. Why stop here? And so, even Hiruzen got in on this and said, Minato, this one of your children, even if he doesn't become a shinobi, it's fine. He has much more of a gift than that. As Danzo completely agreed, one for all war and whatnot, because he knew if Naruto was able to do this, to help them treat their men better, he would be able to go far. And focusing on that, Naruto, watching the river stream and wind that was blowing there, was able to create the design of the windmill. It was huge and a propeller. What did you say this would do? It's a windmill. It from the wind current itself would be able to create electricity, which would be free for us. And I'm working on another prototype. This is called solar panel. This will help us to harvest the sun's energy and convert it into electricity. This is amazing. It would be cheap and would benefit us. And so, our organization was formed called Konoha's Research Center. And Naruto was its in charge at the age of 8 because of he was the one who was the founding father of this. The other villages was observing as huge structure rose from Konoha's side, as well as a lot of plates were now planted onto the ground, facing the sun side. And Konoha, it was not only making electricity which was enough for itself, but also giving it away to the other minor villages and charging them something in return for that. And because of that utility alone, Konoha was making profit from pretty much nothing. That's amazing. We are also profiting, as well as making our own electricity from basically nothing but nature. Aside from it getting from the coal power plants that we have to power from the land of fire itself. We don't need to anymore because these resources are clean and would not harm the nature but also help us. And so Konoha adopted, and when the land of fire contract was cancelled by the whole council of Konoha in agreement, the land of fire daimyo was shocked and asked, and that is when Minato as well as his entourage showed them, the daimyo and his entourage, the whole process of how they did this. The land of fire daimyo was so impressed that he wanted Naruto to establish the land of fire research center and be its head. But Naruto denied that, saying that if they wanted they could get it from Konoha. And so, on a contract, it was placed there and clean energy was being made and the coal power plant was shut down. Now in Land of Fire, everyone had enough electricity and free of cost, which made everyone easier to live there and the most happiest. And the daimyo? When his people were happy and working healthily, his economy boomed and he was happy. And he now looked at Konoha as a form of partner instead of a tool, giving them their own independency instead of just reliant on himself, which Konoha celebrated as them becoming a nation instead of a village that was bound to become the servant of the Land of Fire daimyo and its nation. As there was a party going on, we see Naruto was there, being congratulated by everyone, as Naruto smiled. His siblings on the sideline watched with a frown on their face, looking a bit jealous as Naruto saw this and arrived. Why do you two look sad? You're stealing all our thunder, Naruto. It was supposed to be an us moment, but you made it about yourself again. You don't care about us, don't you? No, I do. Then why are you doing this? I am doing this for everyone, for you guys. So you guys would be able to live in peace. So you guys don't have to go to war and get hurt. I don't want to lose you two. You two are precious to me as much as is everyone else. Are you saying the truth? Of course. You don't need to be hurt or sad. If you have anything to say, you can come to me. We can solve this together, not by fighting against one another or harboring ill intentions. As Naruto said this, his parents watched from afar, as Menma and Mito and Naruto hugged as a trio of siblings. I'm proud of them, of how mature they are. Of course, we are. And so, after that, Naruto in his research center, as the elders observed now much more keenly, was making much more than anyone could have imagined. Better fertilizer so that the crops would grow healthy and without any pests bothering them. And the farmers of within Konoha which resided, little few, were happy. The fertilizer was a hit so much so that Konoha began to import it to the other villages. Soon the other nations got the wind of it, especially the Snow Country, who was kind of pissed and jealous because even if they were known for their attack and advancement, Naruto and Konoha had advanced much more far in the lifestyle process instead of war. And Konoha was not only focusing on that, Naruto had built some defenses because he knew that he needed to protect this. And the defenses that he had built was cheap as well as made with chakra resources. As he was presenting them to everyone in the council, they were amazed So you mean to say this is just a chakra seal that will be placed on this metal plate, which would have these hydraulics within to absorb the shock, placed on the outer wall of the whole village? Yes, it is a little expensive, but it will absorb everything and turn it into an energy that is stored. And when the village needs it, it will release it as a shock wave, pushing everything from 50 miles in the area outside. And it is unbreakable because of the seal matrix that is placed there and chakra metal rejuvenation from the same energy itself of chakra in all form of elements that is thrown at it. As everyone agreed that this was a genius invention and began to work on it. Within 2 years, this was made and planted across the whole Konoha borders. And now everyone was secure. Even the guards, who were the vulnerable ones at first, were now placed behind same metal placed chambers, and they could view outside with peace of mind, knowing that they were protected and would be able to alert everyone. In the inside though, Konoha was prospering so much faster at rate that it was said to be 10 years ahead of the rest of the elemental nations. Naruto was relentless, and following his vision, his siblings, his family, and the rest of the Konohan, even the clans, they knew that they would go far. And so, after 5 more years, as Naruto reached at the age of 14, we see there was a Kage summit. And this time, Konoha decided to hold it within their own village instead of the Iron Country, and the other Kages were invited. As soon as they got inside the metal gate, they were shocked at how thick it was at the sight of it, but what awaited inside shocked them even more. Paved roads and paths, as well as water system that were newly built, and the building's infrastructure, it was new. Towered buildings that were well hidden behind the wall. Instead of small homes and shops, they had huge malls. In one place, all the shops were placed, and the whole clan system and the civilian system was merged together. There were a lot more parks, and people seemed healthy, and everything was much more advanced. Is this really Konoha? Said Onigi. Yes, this is, said Minato as he arrived. Onigi-sama. It's all thanks to my son Naruto and his vision. You're hiding this from the rest of the elemental nation, harboring this knowledge, and not sharing? I am willing to share, but I thought you guys hated me and, my parents, since I'm kind of like their son. What happened in the war was a tragedy. If this was given to us, we would have advanced so far. I am selling the fertilizers and the other things outside, like the solar panels and windmills. They are expensive for us to produce. Who said that you need to buy the exact same materials? You can use the machinery alone and build your own. We can do that? Of course you can. Suna is basically surrounded by wind, by the sun. In the meanwhile, Kumo and Iwa are surrounded by both water as well as wind. As for Kiri, it is surrounded by water, which meant that you can use different means to build your own water system and electricity system. I actually have made some plans, but I was fearful that you might, reject them since I am from Konoha and all. What plans? We wish to see it. And instead of the Kage summit, Naruto's plans were now being discussed, his siblings acting like his protectors as well as someone who were there to observe their little brother grow, watched with curious eyes as Naruto explained everyone the plan. The delegations who were there to discuss in heated debates were now debating whether to implement them or not, and 90% was agreeing as such. We would like to take these blueprints and discuss this with our people before going forward with this. We would like to also form an alliance with Konoha, a stronger one. No ceasefire, an alliance, a peace treaty. That would be great, said Minato. Peace between the nations is a great thing, and it would also help us all to grow. And immediately the peace treaty was formed. And once they returned back, the letters were sent immediately, and Naruto had now gone on a tour across the elemental nations. It took him 6 years as Naruto reached at the age of 20, as the whole elemental nation has transformed. So much so that even those who have doubted him now begin to envy him, such as Orochimaru and even the Akatsuki. Naruto had returned back from that trip, and the whole nation saw him as a visionary, even the daimyos as well, and were jealous that Konoha was the one who was able to bear such a son on its soil. As Naruto returned home and was resting, he was awoken and found himself not in his home, but in a different place, a place in which he was seated comfortably. Where am I? You are somewhere safe. How did you know that you were taken? It's obvious that I'm not tied, so you don't mean to hurt me, but you have taken me from my home, so obviously I was somewhere. You are quite clever. We wish to know that. How were you able to do it? I was able to do it because I guess I was. I don't know. I just wanted to help people live better, instead of just wanting war and death. You really mean that, don't you? Of course. But you have forgotten that there will be death. There will be war. Of course there will be. And you just are okay with that? This is the human mind cycle, the psychology behind it. Once we get comfortable enough, people would want more. And once that happens, there would be war. And that is why I have made them so comfortable that they don't want anything but comfort and peace. I don't understand. You give them little peace, they want more. But if you give them enough peace that they are used to it, they don't want anything but that. That is what I have done. So you weakened your enemies. No, I didn't weaken anyone. I gave them the future, which is peace, prosperity, betterment, development, and no war. Your children don't have to go and fight the wars of the old times. It's time of the new age. And if we don't adapt to that, we will be left behind, like how the Snow Country in its arrogance have. They focused on the military weapons of advancement. They might have advanced weapons, but we have advanced defense to their weapons, as well as much more better lifestyle. So much so that the people have flocked from there to the multiple elemental nations. We are from Amegakure. Why did you not come for us? I did send you a letter. Did you not receive it? So it was from you, not from Konoha. It did say Konoha's research center underneath it. You didn't read it, did you? Of course I didn't. Do you wish to help us? Of course, I would love to help anyone. That is the whole goal here. Live in peace and let live in peace. What happened in the past was tragic, but we don't have to repeat ourselves now, do we? Continuing the same cycle over and over again would be just that. Cycle repeating itself. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to truly break it, you make a change. A change so big that nobody would want to go back. What you have said is true. And we would like to see just how truth it is. What? Are you guys serious about this? Of course, Setsu. We are serious about this. Even you, Obito. As Obito nodded. Yes. This boy, this 20-year-old was able to convince you all grown-up men and people here that his vision is right. We all know how peace is fragile. It will be broken now or today or tomorrow. How can it be broken? I mean, it is pretty much obvious that nobody wants war at the moment. And in the future, as the villages develop much more further, more Narutos will grow. Because they knew that they need to outdevelop the other one and help, as I have, to become someone like me. Not the ones that they admired before, the heroes of war. They want to be the heroes of peace now. And because of that, they, instead of focusing on war training, would more focus on development of the next generation. So there is less chances of war than you think. There are still chances. Of course there are. There always have and will be. But that doesn't mean that we have to go to war, now do we? There are other things, other methods through which we can discuss and settle our differences. And through that, Zetsu let out a rageful rant that in which he slipped and let out his plan that caused Akatsuki to turn on him, and they happily transformed Naruto back and later on through literal channels approached him for Amegakure, which now underwent development alongside with the Land of Waves and much more. And the people like Gato and the rest of the criminals, they were outcasted, killed, arrested, and imprisoned. While the rest of the Elemental Nation, they were in and wanting more of this development and peace that they were feeling because they knew that this was something they have never experienced. The calm, the peace of mind knowing that there is no war, there is no threat, and they would be at peace and living a happy and luxury life. Everyone would want that. And Naruto, he has succeeded. Succeeded in giving modernization technology that he has created to everyone. And still was, as everyone was still standing behind him. As this is where I will be leaving this story of, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on my other two channels as well. As this is it for the day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.